Hi everyone, I'm Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. This week I have another beautiful new style to show you. This is Bliss by TressAllure in the color Chocolate Swirl. I'm very excited to get a good look at this new style. I love this kind of a mid-length, mostly one length, just a few little layers. Sleek looking style, so absolutely excited to get a good look at this one. First, I wanted to mention that I'm an ambassador for wigs.com and also a moderator for their private Facebook group. It's a wonderful place to exchange ideas and information or just show off your styles, and I would love to see you there. So let's go ahead and get a good look at the details before we make any changes. As you can see, she is flopping in my face quite a bit, and currently they have her in a center part, a little bit zigzagged, but this is a full mono top with double knotting, they're calling it. So we'll get a good look at that. I'm hoping that I can part her on the left the way I like to, and we will test that together. So let's look at just a few of the details. Here's that lace front. So you can see we have quite a bit of highlighting on the right and on the left in the front, and in the center it looks a little thicker and a little darker, but it's a wonderful extended lace front, and it runs, I'm trying to feel, I think from there, maybe even further. It's hard to feel. We'll have to look at it when I do the cap construction, but it's an extended lace front, and as I mentioned, a mono top, and we will change this parting together and steam the fibers away from the face the way I like to do. So let's go ahead and get a good look at her from all sides right out of the box. Here she is from the right and the back and the left. Yeah, just a lovely mid-length style, feels very sleek and lower density. So next we'll go ahead and we'll change that part line, steam it in place, steam the fibers away from the face. We will look at the cap construction. We'll go over some styling options for this style. I'll take her outside, or at least in front of a window. It's been raining the last couple of days here, so but we'll look at this color in natural light together, and then we'll go over final thoughts. Okay, so I have my rat tail comb here, and I want to go ahead and change the part. So first, I thought I would go ahead and part it along the zigzag just to see what that would look like if you were wearing her in a center part. Because that's how I've seen it in the stock photos, and I think that's kind of what they intended, even though hopefully you can part it in different places. Now, I don't have any silicone scar tape under there, so you might be seeing some of my bio hair. But that's what the part looks like in the center there. And I know a lot of wig wearers like to wear their styles this way, so I wanted to show it. But now I'm going to try and move this to the left because I prefer a left part on my styles. It's just what I'm comfortable with and used to. Okay, so one thing I noticed right away is that you absolutely see the highlighting much more here than you did in the center. We can go back to the center. You see, in the center, you don't really notice those caramel highlights very much. It's very subtle. The minute you change it to the left, you have some stripiness going on, which really doesn't bother me too much, but I know some people don't like that. Let's see how it is on the right. Same. So you absolutely see the highlighting more once you move the part to either side. So what I might try is to stay closer towards the center and just move it to the left a little in the front. Yeah, we're still getting some of that stripiness there. Let me see. If I move this over. You can absolutely play around with the part this way to try to find, where you like it and really kind of perfect it. And I like to do that before I steam the style, of course, so that it's exactly where I want it to be and that it will always fall back to that spot. So that's pretty good. I do see a seam here, I think, a little bit, but that definitely I can improve with some scar tape under there. if that's what I want to do. Let me see. Yeah, I think I like it this way. So I will get a good look at that. I'm going to clip it in place first so it doesn't just fall again and revert back to the original when I take it off. But I'm going to get a good look at that, put her on the blockhead, and we'll start steaming. Let's go ahead. We're going to steam the part in place first, and then we're going to steam the fibers away from the face. I have my iSteam steamer here. This is a little handheld clothes steamer that I like to use to steam my synthetic and heat-friendly synthetic styles. And I'll leave that in my description box down below. So let's go ahead and get started. Be sure to direct the steam at the fibers, not at the delicate lace front or monofilament. Keep the steamer moving. Don't leave it in any one place for more than 3 seconds. That should do it. Now I'm going to let these fibers cool completely for the new style to set. I'll put her back on and we'll see if we like the results. The fibers are nice and cool now, still a little damp, that's all right, but nice and cool. So the new style should be set. So let's go ahead and remove the clips and see if we like the results. All right. Yes, I absolutely like this style this way. Next, I wanted to talk briefly about how I like to remove excessive shine on a synthetic wig. Frankly, I don't think this one really needs it because I like a little bit of healthy looking shine, but I often get this question or hear discussion about concerns that synthetic fibers are too shiny. And so I did want to share with you what I like to use. I like to use this product. This is a dry shampoo powder and it's called Hair Dance Volumizing Dry Shampoo Powder. I purchased this on Amazon and I'll leave it in my description box down below. I like this product because I like to stay away from aerosolized dry shampoos because of the recalls that have been happening, and I just feel that this is safer and works just as well. And let's go ahead and apply just a little bit so that you can see how it works. And you can either do that with the wig on your head or off. First, I'll just show you. I'm not sure you need to shake it, but it comes out in a little puff, just like that. I tried applying the powder while the wig was on my head first, and then realized it was just becoming too difficult and messy, and then took the wig off, and I prefer that. So I think that looks much less shiny now than it did. In fact, if we create a part and kind of look at the under layer, you can see that it is shinier than the surface where we applied the powder. So here we have the cap construction. First, I'll remove the piece of silicone scar tape. I like to apply that to the underside of my wigs to help create a natural scalp appearance where otherwise my dark bio hair might show through the monofilament. I like to use the AWD silicone scar sheets, and I'll leave that in my description box down below. So as you can see, we have a full mono top, and as I think I mentioned, they're calling it a double knotted monofilament top. So let's test really quickly, carefully to see where all you can part this style. Right now, as I mentioned, I have her parted mostly in the center of that monofilament where the zigzag parting was. And then I moved the front part to the left a little bit because I like a left parted style. So now if I run, let me see, if I run this down on the, that's going to be the right side. Let's see what we get. Okay, so now you can see that double knotted monofilament top. I hope you can see that. The knots aren't too bad in my opinion, and I'll leave this up to you as to what you think. It's looking a little sparse to me on that side at least. Let's test the left side. And as I mentioned before, when you part it on the left or the right, you see more of that highlighting, the striped highlighting. So now we're completely on the left, and that's what that looks like. Again, the knotting is pretty good. For my taste, it's a little sparse. You might be okay with that, and you could add some color, with an eyeliner pencil to make it look a little thicker. But yeah, that's what that's looking like. So that's the double knotted monofilament top, and I'll leave that up to you as to whether you think you could change the part outside of this area in the center. And then we have an extended lace front, comes about halfway down the ear tabs on both sides. I love that feature. This allows you to style the wig away from the face and still have that appearance of hair growth all along that extended lace front. So I'm a huge fan of that feature. We have the soft ear tabs with metal stays, an extended nape for a bit of extra coverage, Velcro adjusters, and I left these where they were. They're pretty much extended almost as far as they can go there, unless you were to remove them completely. But I'm a 22-inch circumference. My head is 22 inches, and I will say this cap fits me very comfortably. So we have open wefting in the back and on the sides, and that makes for a nice and stretchy cap. I did check for permatease on this style, and in that double knotted monofilament top portion, I didn't find any permatease. I did find a little bit here on top and in other areas of the cap, but it's really minimal, really nicely done. And I think overall this is a very sleek, natural looking density style. So next we'll go ahead and look at different ways we could style her. First, I always like to test an ear tuck. And on this side, I usually do a half a tuck, and I'm really liking that. I think these very ear tuckable. Let's try it on the other side. It's not the perfect color match for me, but you can see that works pretty well. My ear is staying nice and flat, and I think that's a pretty look. Then I always like to do the headband because this will show you how much coverage I'm getting with my 22-inch head circumference with this style. Okay, so first, let's feel for that lace front. Usually it's easier to feel. Anyway, I think it's here. Here and here. So that is a nice extended lace front, and you can see how you have that appearance of hair growth all along there. The one thing that I don't love is this denser and darker area in the center here. I'm wishing that this was a little thinner, and I think I would pluck that. And the ear tabs come from here to here on me. So you do see a little bit of bio hair here, but really it's a nice amount of coverage for this style. So I love pulling the fibers away from the face like this throughout the day, just to keep them off of your face completely when you're working. And I am noticing the highlighting quite a bit when we pull it back like this as well. So wanted to point that out. Then let's go ahead and do a ponytail. And I have my bio hair tucked under right now. So let's see what we can accomplish with this style. Okay. Couple of things that I noticed while I was doing this. First, you can see that you do see the bottom of the ear tab a little bit. So you would want to disguise that somehow, maybe pull the fibers down a little to cover that bottom of the ear tab, or you could try to blend your bio hair with it. But yeah, that is exposing the bottom of the ear tab a little bit when we pull it back like this. Also, even though I think this is a fairly low density style, I only needed to wrap my hair tie twice, not 3 times. So I would say it's maybe light to medium density. So let's go ahead and get a good look at this from all sides. Here she is from the right and the back and the left. So yes, I think this works really well for a ponytail, and that will really keep the fibers off of your neck. And lastly, let's go ahead and try a little claw clip. I happen to have one that kind of matches the color. So let's do that. And so some of the longer pieces you might have to work to incorporate a little bit better than I did. Or you could pin them or tuck them. But we do have a few longer pieces that are falling out while I did this. And let's go ahead and see that from all sides. So as you can see, a nice amount of versatility for this style. That's why I really love a mid-length style like this, because there's just so much you can do with them. So next, let's go outside and get a good look at this beautiful color in natural light. I think you can see where this color got its name. We have these beautiful caramel highlights that just make this look like a swirl of chocolate and caramel. And let's go ahead and read the color description. It's a medium brown blended with medium auburn and dark gold blonde. Now, I don't see a whole lot of the auburn. You can see just a little bit. Let's go ahead and change the part here because I do have some of that dry shampoo on the fibers. And so I really want you to see that without the dry shampoo. Now, if you look here, you can see a little bit of auburn in there. And of course, the highlighting again, when you part it anywhere but the center. Let's part it on the left. Same thing, but oh, there we have a little bit of sunlight as well, so you can see that color. Okay, and of course we have the highlights here in the front. If this is too much for you at all, you certainly could put a little bit of root spray on there to darken some of those, just depending on what you like. But I think it looks really pretty, and it's very subtle in other areas. You really just see it here in the front. And if it were parted completely in the center, let's do that real quick. This color just changes depending on where you part it. So now that's what that could look like if you have it parted in the center. Then you really hardly see those highlights, I think. So very interesting. So let's go ahead and get a good look at this from all sides. Here she is from the right and the back and the left. Just a very pretty color. I love this combination of brown, auburn, and blonde. For my liking, I wish that the highlighting was a little more subtle in the front, a little less noticeable, but overall the color combination I think is really beautiful and suits this mid-length style very nicely. So final thoughts. Bliss here is a gorgeous style. She does remind me a little bit of Miranda Light by John Renault. Just with these layers and the length, and it's just a sleek synthetic style. You can see we have just a few layers. They're longer layers, but in the front they just frame the face so nicely. They kind of bend inward there. I do love that look. And yeah, let me just point out the layers in case I didn't do that already. You can see just a few longer layers. So it's a beautiful style. I do like the extended lace front because that allows me to style her away from the face. I will say that the density right here in the center, I wish that were not as dense, and that's something I would want to work on. And the highlighting is a little extreme here. Although a beautiful color. I did notice, as I mentioned, that this ear tab on this side, let's check the other side, is exposed a little bit when you're pulling it away from the face to do a ponytail. I'm noticing it less over here. Well, maybe a little bit actually, yes. So you definitely, if you're pulling this completely away from the face, will need to work on that, and that happens occasionally. So that's what I would say about that. And then the color is gorgeous. I do love this chocolate swirl. I do think it's interesting how the color changes depending on where you part it because of the placement of the highlights. So I do love this style, and I think that this chocolate swirl is a pretty color. You might just need to work with those highlights a little bit to get them to where you like them. I hope, as always, that my review has been helpful and informative, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.